Hello everyone and welcome to the People's Critics. Jay Antonio here and absolutely thrilled to have you today as I review The House of Gucci. House of Gucci is directed by Ridley Scott. It stars Lady Gaga, Jared Leto, Adam Driver, Al Pacino, Jeremy Irons, and Salma Hayek. Incredibly, an all-star cast. This movie starts off right. It starts off as a love story between Patricia and Maurizio Gucci. These two seem like a match made in heaven, and they seem like they're going to be truly in love for the rest of their lives. The character development at the beginning of the film and the plot points are absolutely well-founded at the very beginning. As we get into the middle of the film, we start to see some cracks in the relationship. First off, I do want to mention that Lady Gaga puts on a performance here that definitely is award-winning. I'm totally bought into the fact that she is that character. And Adam Driver also does an amazing performance as he plays Maurizio, who seems to be this guy that's just cool as a cucumber and absolutely just loves Patricia and wants to live his life as a lawyer and nothing to do with the House of Gucci overall. However, Patricia has her own agenda, as pointed out by Rodolfo Gucci at the beginning of the film, when he says that she's simply just a money-hungry woman. She simply wants the money, she wants the power, she wants control. And Adam Driver, as Maurizio, says absolutely not, and him and his father begin to have a rift. Patricia, however, is always looking for a way, and she doesn't give up. So she goes to Aldo Gucci, played by Al Pacino. She goes to him and she begins to slowly manipulate Maurizio Gucci into getting back into the business of Gucci. Adam Driver, or Maurizio, is hesitant. He doesn't want anything to do because he knows that this business is absolutely toxic. And he's happy being in love with Patricia. She, on the other hand, is not. Jared Leto is seen as being the black sheep of the family. He is somebody that actually has creativity in the character that he plays, and it seems like he can actually lead Gucci in a good direction. However, all the members of the Gucci family look at Jared Leto's character as a fool, as a clown, and perhaps that is why Jared Leto plays the character so sarcastically almost. It almost seems as he is some type of, what would I put it as? He is some type of clown to all the members of the House of Gucci, when in reality he seems to be one that wants to push Gucci to new limits. However, he does come off as kind of a clown, as silly. He has this high-pitched voice that seems a little bit like he's playing too much to the character being a clown, but it could have been that Ridley Scott wanted to have Jared Leto play this character that way because that's how the entire family viewed his character. So we have the love story in the beginning. As we get into the middle, we see the manipulation of Patricia on Maurizio, and we begin to see the foundation of what is going to happen throughout this movie. We have about 30 to 45 minutes of the movie that is really establishing this movie as a well thought out, well done film. And it is. It is. We see it in the cinematography, we see it in the acting, we see it in how the shots are blocked. We see absolutely everything as this movie is going to be great. However, where it drops is as we get into the middle of the film, we see the infighting, we see the manipulation, but as the characters develop, they seem to take a turn, especially the character of Maurizio and of Patricia. We see the manipulation of Patricia on Maurizio, but with his character, we really don't see how he starts to turn, if you will, to the dark side. In fact, toward the middle of the film, he simply just turns into this person that wants nothing to do with Patricia. He doesn't seem to show the cracks of someone that becomes this spender and who starts to take over the House of Gucci and manipulate situations. In fact, the only person that we're seeing manipulate situations throughout the entire movie is Patricia. Adam Driver seems to be kind of okay with what's going on, a little bit annoyed. We do see a part in the film where he does get mad at her. He pushes her up against a wall and really says, look, I'm absolutely done. But the development of that character, so somebody that goes into the dark side, is not really there. So the balls kind of drop there. The story in itself, with the manipulation, the infighting of the House of Gucci, the tax fraud, all of that, I feel, personally, could have been developed in a more entertaining and a more well thought out way. The movie does take place over a 20-year period, so what happens is the film starts to get choppy. It kind of hops around, and because of that, we lose character development, we lose plot points, and we get to a point where ultimately Patricia and Maurizio are no longer together. He has an affair. He doesn't want to be with her anymore. And obviously she resents that and plots his murder. And she does it through Salma Hayek, who is a psychic in the film that kind of plays a role in the film that is kind of like, what's going on here? It almost seems like they're trying to blame the murder on the psychic, and we see that Patricia spirals out of control and kind of seems manipulated a little bit, but the psychic falls a little flat on why, how she has a part to do with it. Gets a little confusing, kind of like I am right now. I don't really know where this film was trying to go. The film overall, it did tell a good story about the House of Gucci, what power does to people, what money does to people, what ambition, what pride. Was I inspired by the film? Was I like, man, I need to not do that? I wouldn't say that I was inspired by the film. Overall, I felt the film was well done, but I felt it kind of had a documentary film to it, a documentary feel to it. The film overall, to me, wasn't what I would call an IMAX level film. It wasn't something that you would spend a lot of money on, but it would be something that you definitely want to see because it is well shot. It is a great film overall in the way that it's shot, in the cinematography. The story is good, and it is something you may want to see in the movies. The costumes are amazing, of course. The costumes being Gucci, you're not going to miss out on anything like that. But overall, I would rate this film as a regular admission, almost even a matinee, but not quite streaming because it is a well-done movie. And Ridley Scott does a great job of keeping you engaged because of the scenery and the costumes, and the actors really give an amazing performance. A lot of flack out there on Jared Leto. A lot of people say like he just overplayed the character, but for me, I felt that he did a great job as the character, especially if Ridley Scott was going for trying to make this character be seen through the eyes of the characters of the House of Gucci overall, of the family members. And he is ridiculed because he does want to go in a new direction. Overall, the performances are amazing though. The movie itself, though, falls a little flat for me. It lacks emotion. It lacks really a fluid plot points. But overall, I give it a regular admission. So if you want to go see it, definitely go see it. If you don't, wait for it to come out on streaming, whatever your choice is. Feel free to leave a comment, and remember to subscribe because there's a lot more reviews to come. That's the People's Critics. Do not forget to subscribe, please. We need your support, and we look forward to having some guests on the show to seeing what your thoughts are on the movies that we will be reviewing. Our next review is going to be Spider-Man No Way Home. Absolutely excited for that. We'll also be reviewing Matrix Resurrections. We have a lot going on, a lot to see. Look forward to seeing you at the movies. One thing about this movie real quick that I do want to say, there's a quote in the film that says, quality is remembered long after pricing. If only the movie lived up to it. It was a quality movie, but overall, I wasn't bought into it being a full-on Gucci-style quality film. Nevertheless, feel free to subscribe. Come back to The People's Critics as your source for movie reviews.